RESTful services, we are using Web API for the service layer, and backend as SQL Server. Yeah. And coming to the roles and responsible, currently currently working for one of the projects. So as a it's a more into a senior system development analyst and more into individual contributor role. So we are following agile methodology for the project actually. So we are working on a development of day-to-day activities. We are following agile. So like user stories creation, working on user stories and creating the task for development activities and guiding the junior resources like 4 members. We have a team of 13 members. So so as an individual contributor, I have to finish the user stories, some of the user stories, key development activities, and following up the team for completion of their task actually. So we have a daily scrum call and project backlog, user story grooming calls we have, and sessions, like we have sessions, daily status calls we have, and we have a meeting with product owner in case if we need any clarification and any impediments. So we'll intimate to the scrum master via product owner. So there we'll have a call so that he will provide some domain knowledge. We will face any issues, then he will clarify the issues and how to proceed further. So sometimes they will assign some user stories which are already the work item which is already in progress, like the screens are already developed, and some data issues will come. We'll fix the data issues and code issues. So as per the development activity. Yeah.
Okay. So you are good in .NET or you are good in a database? Which one is this?
.NET. I am good in .NET.
And what about database?
Database MS SQL Server we are using.
So how good you are in database?
Database also I'm good. Like out of 5 I can rate 3 myself.
Okay. Okay. Just a moment.
And also in day-to-day activities, we are also interacting with the technical architect if you are facing any workflow actually, getting the requirements, and as discussed with the technical architect, we'll come to the conclusion how to proceed further. So participating in technical discussions.
Okay.
The technical architect.
Okay. So for a project, how you are doing your unit testing?
Sorry, for a project?
Yeah, in a project, how you are doing your unit testing?
Unit testing, we are following NUnit framework.
And you are following anything for code quality?
Code quality, in the sense, okay. CodeMade is one plugin actually, which is a open source one. So that is we integrated with Visual Studio and we are using CodeMade. It will give actually. So how much the block of code is, it will give the count values actually. Out of 100, 70% code coverage should be there actually.
So where you have defined it? This one you have defined in your CI/CD or where?
CI/CD also we have Veracode scan and 45 scan. Those are enabled actually. So we are using 45 scan. So 45 scan basically will scan the code and it will provide any security related issues. Yeah. Veracode.
So the scan is in development time or build time?
Build, yes.
Okay. Okay. So how you are maintaining your branching in a source control?
Source control, right? We are following Azure DevOps actually. So in Azure DevOps, let's say for example, yeah, I'll totally shall I explain the process, whole process?
No, I know that DevOps, right? Just
Yeah.
tell me the branching, how you are
Branching, yeah,
managing.
we have a master branch, and so we'll clone the code from the master branch into a local into a
Wait,
local, and creating the individual developer branches. Let's suppose
okay,
in
so
our,
you have master branch.
yeah,
So master branch will contain the production code.
yes, production code only, yes,
Okay,
yeah.
so if a master branch that contain prod code,
And
right?
I'll tell you, there are two scenarios. Master branch contains production code. If we are getting any data fixes or data issues or code issues, so then we will clone from the master branch, and we'll create a, let's say for example the user story is 8266 for example. So we'll create a new branch. Okay, with our alias R Nalla, Ramesh Nalla underscore 8266 is a branch name, and we will merge the master branch into this branch. Then we will working on this created branch.
Okay.
Okay, and I will fix the code. Is there any code fix? We will replicate the issue in different environments, prod mirror, stage, and all. Dev mirror. Then we will fix the issue. We will find the RA root cause analysis. We will fix the issues. Then we will raise a pull request to the master branch.
Master branch.
Okay, so architect will review the code actually. So all things will be verified, and we will deploy it into a mirror environment, not Dev directly. So for Dev we have Dev mirror, so for testing purpose, and for production we have production mirror, that is staging we call it as. So we will deploy in these two environment, Dev mirror and prod mirror. Once the deployment is done, we will inform to the tester to test the particular user story whether it working fine or not. If they will confirm it is working fine, then we will send out a mail to the production team. So there is a process actually. We don't have access to deploy the code into direct production. Production team will we have release this February 13 we have a release. So all these things will go on that release.
So you are using Azure DevOps for release also, or you are using any other tool for release?
Yeah, Azure DevOps only for releasing CI/CD, both build and releases. Yeah.
So how you have implemented the approval process in Azure DevOps? You must have that, right?
Yeah. Okay, approval process for deploying it into mirror environment. Our lead, our manager, he will deploy actually, or else we can also deploy that thing based on the build version and release version. We'll also deploy. And for deploying production, there is a process actually. So we need to provide the change set name, and that user story name, but all the details we will pull request, everything we need to provide actually. If it is a data fix, the scripts also we need to provide actually.
Okay, so tell me. So you have master branch which contains production code. Okay.
Yes.
Now let's say you are 15 member, right?
Yes.
Let's say you are working on 10 PBI.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So 10 PBI means you will create 10 branch, correct? Or you are creating a single branch and you will work?
No, we can create a single branch and no, 10 PBI, different PBI, same PBI, different PBI, right?
Yeah, different PBI, right? 10 PBI.
Then PBI means developers will create their individual branches.
Correct.
10
individual
branches.
branch in the sense?
The person Rajesh is there, he will create with his name, Rajesh. Ramesh is there, he will create with his name, with his
Correct.
PBI, with his
whatever.
Yeah, like that. Mr. X is there, he will create his branch with that X. With that with his PBI. So like 15 branches will be created for their PBI.
Okay, so how you are managing the release? You have multiple change here, right? Okay, so let's say you and me working on
release
branch.
Branch. Correct.
Okay, I created my branch Ashok or something, and you have created your branch.
Okay.
Okay, I did. I am done with my code change. What I'll do, what you are saying, I will merge it to master branch.
Master branch is having a production code, right? You
Correct.
wanna work with production code only or any other?
No, regular development. I'm asking you.
Regular development code will be in let's say in release wise, right? Release 5.0, release 5.2, enhancement, release 6.0, like that. So it will go. See, if release 5.2 is freeze, right? Release 5.2 code will be merged with the master branch, right? That means release 5.2 is done actually. The development is done. Then release 6 will be starting. So again, people will have a discussion with the requirements and all. They will
Okay,
start
so
working on release 6. Yeah.
so you are not doing mix and match.
Yeah,
That way.
no, that we are not doing.
Okay. Okay. For database, you are using ADO or any kind of ORM you are using?
We are using the thing actually. Current releases we are using ORM Entity Framework, and few of the old thing actually they have used ADO.NET. So like we have regular development activity, and you will get some incidents, right? The issues and all support. So for there they have used ADO.NET.
Okay. So now your entity framework is DB first or code first?
That is when I came to the team, they already developed. That is DB first actually.
Okay.
Even code first also I know that actually. In the code first we are going to create the entities. All the annotations we'll use the annotations with the table name we are going to specify in the class level, and key, primary key, and all those things. And all model creating that we are going to use actually. So what is the table name is there in the database, that an entity we are going to create in the class as a class name.
Okay. So tell me, we are talking entity framework.
Yeah, entity
right?
framework. Yes.
So let's say we have to create a bulk operation kind of task.
Okay.
And we will use entity framework.
Okay.
Okay. So entity framework by default doesn't have any functionality for bulk operation, right?
Yeah.
It will be one-on-one.
One-on-one, yes. Yeah, add range we have, right? That db set dot add range of that model we need to do.
Yeah. So it's 8 range or whatever. So in backend, it will do the one-on-one, right?
One-on-one, yeah.
Okay. So this can, how you will do it?
Okay, how you will do in bulk?
Yeah.
Actually, you want to use entity framework only or ADO? In ADO.NET, I think we have an option, right? ADO.NET we have SQL bulk. We need to specify that data table will be there, right? That will pass as an argument to the store procedure. So I remembered one of our last project.
Okay, what you are saying that not related to store procedure, right? Is SQL bulk you are saying?
Yeah,
right?
SQL bulk actually. There is SQL bulk.
The name says something. Okay,
Yeah.
now you are mapping your data table to
correct
physical table.
Physical table, yeah. That table, so that it will do the bulk operations. But in entity framework, bulk, right?
Yeah, entity framework we don't doesn't support that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can do SQL bulk. Okay, I also forgot what exactly the namespace or name. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
What else you can do if you don't use bulk?
What else we can do in the sense, or else we can rely on any other service so that we will provide this information. The service can do the operation. So you want one at a time?
No, bulk, right?
Bulk at a time, like 500
Yeah.
records, 500 record at a time.
Okay,
Insert.
let's say I'll give you one example.
Okay.
Okay, we have service running in each 1 hour.
Okay, each 1 hour, yes.
Different service.
Okay.
API.
So,
service running, and that's consuming some API.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Let's say one service running is consuming one API. In 1 hour, is fetching all the data, whatever be the condition. Okay, is getting bulk data.
Bulk data.
Okay. And that data we have to insert in the respective table.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So if we use entity framer, it will not work. That's definitely fine. Okay. It will work till the table size is very low.
Got it. In that scenario, we need to create a services or any console application. So we need to, what we need to do, we need to generate a SQL insert script with the data. We need to generate a SQL insert script with the data, and we need to execute the data into the particular DB actually. So that it will execute and those many records will be affected, right? So regular interval.
The bulk SQL will help, right? The regular insert also not that much efficient, right?
Efficient, yeah.
Okay, so in this case, what will happen? You will read the data from API, you will capture in your object, then one option you can do your bulk process.
Yes.
Okay, you will write C# code. Okay, and what are the different option you can do? Apart from that?
Different option I can do is...
Okay, so let me ask you in that way. Do you have any exposure to XML data type? XML type?
XML schema, XML data type in the database.
You can pass this data as XML.
As XML, JSON, as a JSON we can pass and store it into into the database.
Not JSON. Which version SQL you use? Latest one?
2016 only.
Okay, maybe 2016. That earlier version I'm asking about.
Okay.
So you have you can create XML node. You can pass all your data.
All data and in
the group work. You will read it and you will do whatever you want to do.
That is also.
Okay, so tell me, what is the difference between temporary table and table variable in SQL?
SQL temporary table and temp table basically.
Tell me where you can't use temp table. So you will use
actually performance wise table variables we cannot use. We can use temporary tables performance wise actually. So it is always recommended to use temp tables instead of table variables.
Fine. We are developer. We will not switch from temp table to table variable because during development type also you will. You can write select star from hash temp table. You will get record, but table variable not user friendly.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So and where it will not work, so you will use table variable.
Okay. Table variable like aliasing, right? So when we are joining multiple tables, we'll create an alias and we can use that one. So that is
table variable and alias is different, right? I'm asking different thing.
So actually one example I can give. So let's say for example I have a bulk data. So I wanted to manipulate the data. So I have some 500 records, 1000 records. Huge 10,000 also I have. I wanted to manipulate the data actually. So I have an equipment table. Equipment IDs will be there, and for each equipment I need to insert some values actually, correct the values in the production somewhere itself. So for that what I'll do now, I'll get the table data and put it into a temporary table. Okay, hash temp the table equipment in the temporary table. Okay, like that 1 2 temporary table I create it. Okay, and I'll do actual validation in the temporary into the temporary table. whatever actual manipulation I will do
and once it's done, you will update the real table based upon the ID you are telling.
Correct.
So you can do the same thing in table variable also, right?
Okay, that this scenario we have done using temporary table. Maybe the difference we will drop the temporary table at finally.
Yeah, it's up to you. If you drop the temporary table, that's fine. Other, if you are closing your connection, it will automatically get dropped.
Yeah.
Correct.
Transaction it will support, and this table variable will not support transaction like that.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
Yeah.
And one more thing, you can't use temporary table in your function.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So within function you can't use temporary table.
Yep.
So in that case you will use table variable.
Table variable. Yeah. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any idea of what are different isolation level in SQL?
Isolation level, I heard it. No, actually, we have it. The separate DBT we were there actually.
Yeah, DBT that's fine, but as a developer you will write something.
Yeah, but more into this API creation of the APIs and all. We have 40 APIs, individual APIs. So as a project, we have creation of the APIs and development and all these things.
So that DB that task totally handled by DB team, or you are also doing?
Not totally handled by. We will also do actually. We'll review the store procedures. Write the logic and all, write the fixes and all that level.
Okay. So you have exposure to WCF, right?
Yeah, I worked on WCF as well.
Okay. In WCF, do you know what is the default isolation level?
WCF isolation.
So whenever you are doing a database transaction, there will be some isolation level, right?
Yes.
Serializable.
Okay. Per call, per session, those things?
No. Isolation level is serializable.
Serializable.
Correct?
Yeah.
In WCF, so if you want, you can change it. Otherwise,
you cannot change. Yeah, correct.
So do you know what exactly the serializable?
Because whenever we are getting the data right, so over web, over internet, so it should be serializable. So for that we need to declare an attribute with serializable.
That different thing.
Okay.
Okay, that serialization you are talking about.
Database.
Okay. So serializable is the database level. Okay, so isolation level are read uncommitted, read committed, repeatable read, serializable.
Okay, got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
So read uncommitted means you have data, you start a transaction, you change it.
Correct. Yeah.
You have not committed yet.
Not committed yet. Yeah,
but in
exactly.
other transaction, if you use, that other transaction will get the updated value. Though it's not committed, it will get the updated value.
For
so
these, exactly. Understood.
So when you will roll back the first one, the second one will have the updated value.
Yeah, actually, what happened, right? So for do these, since we are new to the team and all, for do these kind of activities, we need to sit with the DB people, and they will run these isolation levels. Read and commit.
Yeah, it's a one time, right?
One time, actually. If something goes right, so it is a problem, right? That's why we will sit with them and they will run, actually.
Isolation level, why you will run with DBT? This isolation level will be set one time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so read uncommitted, you can access uncommitted data. Read committed means it will wait till the time is committed.
Committed, yes.
Give you the data, and serializable is the highest level. In a transaction, if you read it, if you read, you don't need to do any update. If you read in one transaction, in other transaction, it will not allow to read itself.
Correct. Yeah.
The locking kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay, so per call, per session, and single. What does that mean? That instance creation, right?
Yeah, instance context modes actually. So whenever client sending a request to the service, right? So at service server side, so the service class create an object and that will send to the client actually. So how it is? So whether it is a single object going to serve all the client requests, or for each client a new service instance will be created and that is sending back to the client. So
okay, done. Per call, per session, a single. Okay. And we have one concurrency mode also, right? Single, multiple, reentrant. Do you remember?
Single, multiple, concurrencies. Single, multiple.
So what does it mean by multiple and single?
So if multiple people are accessing, requesting for a service, so if you're setting this concurrent mode, right? I forgot it actually. Till context I remember.
Okay, no issue.
So multiple people are going to accessing the single resource. So we are going to set this concurrency mode.
Multiple people, multiple call, right?
Multiple calls. Multiple call, yeah.
Okay. So if you are setting, okay, leave that. Okay, so in your application for API, how you are implementing authentication and authorization?
Okay, authentication and authorization, right? You're saying so we are following different ways. Like to implement authentication, we have filters. Authorization filter attribute is a base class. So we are going to create a custom class, custom authorize. So which implement this authorization filter, authorize filter attributes. So it is having onAuthorizer method actually. We will going to pass the HTTP context there. So using that context, we are accessing the user information and we are going to validate against to the database. And this filter, right, authorize attribute will finally return the Boolean status, true or false, based on the user credentials.
Yeah. So do you have any exposure to certificate-based authentication?
Certificate-based means JWT till I know that. JWT validating.
Okay.
We have a token actually, token validation.
Yeah. And do you have any kind of exposure to any kind of design patterns?
Yes, design pattern, singleton, abstract factory pattern, and builder pattern, and what else? Facade pattern. Yeah, facade design pattern we have used. Builder pattern. Yeah, those patterns.
Okay.
And composite pattern also. I heard about it. I know some idea.
Okay. Leave it. So let's say you have API or application, whatever.
Okay.
Let's say you have API.
Okay.
You have created API. In API, you are exposing data.
Correct. Okay.
In a paging manner.
Okay.
Let's say in the front end, people are asking you, give this much data from this to this.
Okay.
So if we normalize it, so what you have to do? Select R from table where something is something. You want to page, let's say you says, okay, page number 3, page site 10. So you created that and you said, okay. Page number 3 means 30 to 40. So you will return 10 row from 30 to 40 from that table.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So in the link queue, how you will write this statement?
In link queue, right?
Link queue or lambda. Let's say you have one collection. You populated the collection, any of collection. Okay. Now you have to send 10 row from 30 to 40.
Okay. Okay. We have top function we can use. Top select.
Okay, let's say in your table you have a name and DOB. Correct?
Okay. Name and date of birth. Yes.
DOB. Okay. That's much only. And you have a collection of this entity. Okay.
Okay.
Now you populated the entity from table. Select star from table. You populate it. You have a collection list.
Okay.
Okay. From the collection you will return 10 row. Okay, 30 to 40. Order by name or DOB, whatever.
Order by name or DOB.
You have to do order by, right?
Okay. Take. We have a function take.
Correct. Take will you are saying take 10, so it will return 10.
Correct. Yes, take.
So which 10 it will return? First 10. So you have skip and take.
Skip and take, correct. Skip and take
so
we have to use.
Skip 30.
Yeah, that's 10. What I'm recollecting. I've used it. Two things are there. That's what. Yeah. Skip and take.
Okay. So this one link will lambda. Let's say you will write SQL directly.
Okay.
So SQL statement, how you will write it?
In SQL statement, okay. There are let's say for example 500 records. I want like 50-50 like that.
You have some whatever record.
1 to 50 like.
You want the same 30 to 40 10 row.
Okay.
You have name and DOB. You say select. So for top 10 you will write select top 10 star from table. It will give you top 10.
Okay.
Okay, and you want 30 to 40.
Okay, in SQL, right? In SQL, from number to number, I'll create a stored procedure. So you want single query?
Procedure. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, because generic it's always good to write generic, right? So from where to where you want that one, that number will pass to the stored procedure and it will return the data.
You got it. Okay, 30 to 40 number. So I am asking you how you will write your syntax here.
From 30 to 40, 10 rows you want it, right?
10 rows.
I think in one of the SQL version, we have some functions over there.
Row number.
Row number. So using that, we can do.
Okay. Yeah. And you are using SQL 2016, right?
Yeah.
In 2016, you will have not 2016, before 2016.
Before 2016. 2012 we have, I think. 2012.
Yeah, which one? Row number? No, row number is available. You have one more.
One more.
You are using skip and take, right?
Yeah, yes.
The same thing is available in SQL. I think that introduced in 2012. That is offset and fetch.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so you write select star from table, order by something, offset 30 row, fetch next 10 row.
Offset and fetch, correct.
Okay, same thing is available here. Yeah. You do this one or that one, whatever.
Yeah, correct, yes.
Okay. Ramesh, I think I'm good with the session.
Yeah, okay.
So, do you have any question for me?
Thank you very much for your time. Actually, it's so nice talking to you. Question. Like this this opportunity is for a new project or existing one actually? So what are the technologies you're using? Can I know, please?
It's a pull-up project.
Okay.
So some projects are in .NET Core, some are in Classic.NET, some are Angular. And most are in Oracle.
Database. Yeah. Okay.
Very less in SQL Server.
Okay,
that kind of thing. So based upon that project.
So both the development is going on, pure development.
Yeah, it's development project only, not support.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All are development.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.